its fullest potential. It's going to be a busy weekend, Kendall Rusing.
We're just getting started. That's right, Jake.
And now staying on this mat. Oh my goodness, big pull right off the bat. And that's something you see a lot of competitors aim to do, is time the pull so that they can either jump around the guard or go for a quick guard pass off of it, but immediately initiating this lapel. This lapel grip underneath, it's still stuck there right now, no longer engaging it, but that is a very prominent and growing in popularity grip. You see he's trying to pull it out again right now, really utilizing the lapel around the arm, around the leg. Right there, feeds it back to his right hand once again.
Yeah, we saw Paulo in the blue finish with pretty early. I believe it was a triangle. It definitely was either a triangle or armbar. He had a finish after a quick pull in his opening round in the open class. This is his second match coming in. A newer black belt, but he has been making waves on the scene. But this is definitely, I think, one of his biggest challenges thus far with Marcus Vinicius. And he's not quite able to open up that omoplata. Marcus is able to do a good job keeping his elbow nice and tight. But because he is dragging the arm across with his left, like he's bringing the arm all the way across the body, which he just now released, that was giving him the opportunity to open the shoulder.
Yeah, Marcus Vinicius, also known as Marcus Scooby. Competitor in the white gi. This is a tough lapel grip to deal with, especially given Paulo is doing a great job keeping his right knee in play, continually trying to look for an omoplata, threatening a leg entry. And so conventional defenses to this sort of lapel game, you have to continue, you have to be very careful not to give up either the under the leg entry or the omoplata. And right here, this is pretty interesting. It looks like he might try to use this to come up for a sweep.
Yeah, Paulo has, two options when he's here. With his leg extension, he can knock Vinicius forward, or he can try to move him back again. But Vinicius did a really great job keeping his balance and adjusting his footwork as Paulo is working back and forth multi-directionally. So now he switches off to more of a knee shield. But he does have his right leg underneath. So it's not like a traditional knee shield guard. It's more of a collapsed single leg X, really, because Scooby has his left knee pinned down to the ground, which makes his front leg really heavy and keeps his hips nice and tight.
In positions like this, a little bit more of a chess match. A lot of people like to say jiu-jitsu is a game of human chess. These are the kind of positions and transitions that make it seem more like that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And this is a great match, but we actually are going to move over to our first women's open class match that we're going to view of today, and that is going to be on mat 10. On mat 10, we are going to see the reigning world champion, Ana Carolina Vieira, versus Vanessa Griffin. So Vanessa Griffin won her first match here on mat 10, and now she has a very tough quarterfinal in Ana Carolina. These two have just gotten started, and already Ana had a big shot into what looked like a single leg with just 40 seconds into the match. Nothing on the board yet, but both of these ladies very, very dominant. And of course, Ana Carolina is not only a consistent winner in the medium heavy division at major tournaments like Worlds and Pan Ams and Europeans, but she's also consistently winning open classes at the medium. Even though she is medium heavy, she's consistently winning open class divisions, and so she is a terror for anybody she gets matched up with here today.
Vanessa Griffin, such a game competitor in her own right too, just ever improving, even in her early years at black belt, making waves, making it to the finals of major tournaments such as Nogi Worlds. Just really showing the kind of determination it takes to be the kind of champion that Anna Carolina is, right? So, interesting matchup right here. And, you know, Vanessa Griffin staying on the feet, which is, I would say, a little bit of, you're standing in a little bit of the danger zone with somebody like Anna Carolina, but Vanessa has evaded numerous shot attempts and takedown attempts thus far. You see Vieira goes for a little fake right there.
Yeah, the thing about Anna Carolina that is so interesting to me when we watch her in the open is typically in her weight class, we end up seeing her passing and smash passing, and she is so well known for her passing game with top pressure. But in the open class, I've actually, and just as I say that, we're on a guard pull right up into a wrestle up. She still has that pant grip. That was really, really well done by Anna Carolina to keep her left hand on the bottom of the pants, so that even as Vanessa Griffin did a good job at sprawling and rotating and moving away, Anna was able to stay attached to that leg.
She transitions that lapel grip. Do you see that right hand behind the leg? Now that is so much tension. She's going to be able to rip Vanessa Griffin down to the ground.
Right into this leg drag-like position, although now maybe switching into more of a smash pass. Yeah, so it's funny, I was about to say, man, Anna Carolina, she has such a great top game, but in the open class we see her pull guard quite often, and that's just what we saw there. She pulled right into a wrestle up. Looked like she had a couple different options, from a sacrifice throw to more of a sit-up guard or like a deep half come up onto the leg, turned that into a single, and then, man, Vanessa did a really wonderful job defending, had multiple chains of defense working, but Anna was able to finish up on top with that lapel drag through, like you said, Jake, into a nice smash pass position.
Vanessa needs to deal with this head control. Right here, this right arm control by Anna Carolina is just stifling. It makes it so difficult for Vanessa to stop this guard pass as Carolina moves directly into side control. That head control was stapling Griffin's head down to the ground, making it so difficult to move, and now Carolina is riding a comfortable lead of 5 points.
Yeah, notice how Anna uses that left knee staying really pinched towards Vanessa's hip, so that even though Vanessa's defense is really great, she can't bring her bottom knee underneath or her top knee underneath to get some space and to maybe look to recover the guard. So Anna's knee on the left side stays tight enough to prevent that. It's interesting as well to see Anna cross her right leg over the top of her left. Ideally, I suppose, for the same reason, to defend against the potential half guard of Vanessa Griffin.
Yeah, Vanessa was using that arm underneath your right, Kendall, to push and to try to hook with her far leg to get back to half guard. But look, now Anna Carolina sneaky, transitioning that right hand with the lapel, keeping it. That is like a head control ×2. And now moving into mount. Oh, but look at this, Vanessa Griffin.
Yeah, that was an interesting timing, because it looked for a second like Anna was going to switch back into a knee cut, but Vanessa was just just half a second faster and was able to switch her hips and bring her knee inside to recover. Wow, and now we see this is Baby's style that we see so often. She has the lapel brought through the back. She has set up an arm triangle now. The arm and the head connection is on with the lapel, and this is very classic of what we see from Anna Carolina. Not only a 13-point lead, but looking to finish a submission, and less than 5 minutes remain on the board. It's only been about 6 minutes into this match, and she's covered quite a lot of ground.
Right now, though, all things considered, Griffin doing the right thing, trying to keep that right leg flat. As I say that, lifts the leg up, but for a moment they're keeping that right leg flat, fundamental way of getting out of mount. But right now, it looks like Anna Carolina is putting on the extra choke from mount, foreheads on the mat. And this is her time to work. 4 minutes and 15 seconds with a 13-point lead. It's a lot of time to slowly but surely work for the ideal submission. And one thing about the IBJJF rule set, you cannot stall from mount position. It's one of the few positions in jiu-jitsu you cannot get a stalling call from.
Wow.
So Anna Carolina has all the time in the world to do as much or as little activity as she feels is necessary to get the finish.
We just saw across the mat, Melissa Stricker just moved on into the open class. So we have got a lot of flying submissions here this morning. She finished with a choke from the back. We also just saw another submission win from Victor Hugo, the reigning Brasileiro double gold champion on mat 12. So we are not at a loss for submissions this morning here in the open class.
Left in this one, and at this point it's everything Vanessa Griffin can do to stop her arms and her elbows to be above her head. It's very tiring to defend from a fully mounted position, especially with somebody not only so technical like Anna Carolina, but I imagine there's a bit of a strength difference as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, and as we go to the very latter end of this match, Anna Carolina on the side of the mat, just on the border, looking for an armbar, and very poised is what you see her wiping the sweat off her brow mid-armbar. And this just goes to show that the matchups in jiu-jitsu are so important as well. I mean, Vanessa Griffin is an elite competitor, but in the open class, there's more matchups. You haven't fought as many of these competitors as maybe you have in your own division. There's a lot of sort of repeat matches in your own division, but in the open is where you really go against people you've never gone with before. I don't know if we've seen Vanessa Griffin versus Anna Carolina before, but right now it just shows Anna Carolina is coming into this World Championship looking for double gold. Now with 1 minute left, Vanessa Griffin on top, down by 13.
Yeah, this is the first time that we have seen her in the top position, because in the first pole, when Anna was on bottom, it went right into a sweep. So we'll see if she's able to get any of her passing going in a last-ditch attempt to kind of turn the tide of this match.
Anna so far just doing a great job of locking her down, though.
Yeah, super strong. And as time expires here, we're going to jump over to mat 3, because what we're going to see is Gabriela Pisania, who is the reigning double gold world champion, here in her opening round. Now, it's worth mentioning that Gabby Pisania is not only the reigning double gold world champion, she is a 2-time black belt Grand Slam double Grand Slam champion, which is, I don't know, Jay, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know if I've heard of someone doing that twice in a row.
I don't believe I've ever heard of that.
I believe she's the first.
I think before she did that, it would be almost ridiculous to say someone could, but let's jump over.
Yeah, mat 3, she's moving to the back now. We just see Anna move on here in the open class as that time expired there with a big point lead. And Gabby on mat 3, she does have a 2-point lead now with 6:20 left, but she is on the back. She is starting to move to add some more points on the board there.
Gabby Pisania coming from Cidade de Deus in Brazil. And like we said, on her way to being possibly the greatest female competitor of all time. One of the greatest competitors,
Absolutely.
period, of all time. No, I don't think there's any other competitor who's ever done a double Grand Slam, regardless. So just really, like, we're witnessing history being made every time she steps on the mat. And right there, 5 minutes and 49 seconds into the match, we head over to mat 3, and she says,
she's able to
we're
submit
done
Fernanda Makiyama and move on into the elimination 2 round. Or sorry, the semifinals. Excuse me. She'll move on to the semifinals. Gabby will. And you know what? We are actually going to jump over to mat 10 as that match expires, because we are going to see an incredible match here. We have Amy Campo versus Elizabeth Clay. Now, these ladies have fought multiple times no gi. And just not too long ago, we're in the same outstanding no gi division at the Polaris Grand Prix, which included athletes like Fionn Davis. It also included Giovanna Jara. And Liz Clay came out on top of that division, which was really shocking to many people, because Amy Campo is the reigning ADCC champion at plus 60. And Elizabeth Clay is quite a bit smaller, and Elizabeth Clay came out and won the entire event. But I have not seen these ladies fight in the gi, and they have very, very interesting stylistic matchups, in my opinion, here. We see Liz. She has a really, really flexible, strong game. We always say that about her, but we sometimes forget to say how quickly she is able to chain things together with that flexibility. She is not just flying all over the place. She is super methodical and intelligent about the way she chains things together. So we saw she was underhooked on that leg with the right arm. She had a little bit of an armbar attack, almost like a pendulum sweep position, and then she was able to go underneath the leg as a result of losing the armbar, and now she is looking to continue to hip over the top of that leg. And she will be able to do so. Look at the way she's able to rotate her hips further over the top of the leg as Amy fights to bring her right leg forward and maybe turn this into more of a leg drag. If Amy can bring her left knee down to the ground and move to her right side, she'll be able to turn this into a pass. But Liz does an excellent job of keeping the hips elevated, trying to control the far leg. You can see her reaching across to the ankle and isolating her body onto this left leg combo.
Yeah, as we were transitioning, we actually missed that. 2 points for Amy Campo came off of a very sneaky, it seemed like she faked the guard pull and came up on the takedown.
Oh, wow.
And Clay was taken down by Amy Campo. That's why you see Clay on her back right now. But Campo able, and that's sort of when you set the tone of the match like that, you're able to sort of ride that lead and the longer the match goes on, the bigger that 2-point lead gets, it seems like. So definitely interested to see what kind of measures Elizabeth Clay is going to take with her crafty guard to sweep the very difficult to sweep Amy Campo, or perhaps even go for the submission. Both ladies so dangerous.
Yeah, it's interesting because Liz has a way of slapping on submissions where even to the viewer, you can't really tell how dangerous it is, and then people are tapping to devastating toe holds, knee bars, ankle locks, of course. And so that 2-point lead does set a tone of Liz having a little more pressure on her, but at the same time, that can work in her favor if Amy were to get a little too relaxed with that 2-point lead.
It's interesting having competed against somebody as much as these two have competed against each other. And here we go. We see Elizabeth Clay trying to come up on this 50-50. Look at the flexibility of Amy Campo, too. Utilizing the flexibility in her own knee to keep her balance.
Yeah, it's worth mentioning that Amy has a lot of similar attributes to Liz Clay in the flexibility, but also in the speed and the ability to move her way out of dangerous positions in these funky scrambles. They both are really unpredictable, impressive players. I mean, in the finals of ADCC, Amy was down and scored in the last, I believe it was the last 20 seconds. She worked her way around to the back. So both of these ladies pull out last-minute wins when needed. They are able to create dangerous situations for their opponent to get last-minute scores. And in this 50-50, this is not a teeter-totter 50-50. This is a 50-50 position where there are consistent threats of submission, and that really changes the game for the person inside it, because you cannot just sit there and hope for sweep points. You've really got to make sure you're not getting submitted the whole time and working towards the pass, which makes it really, really difficult for Amy Campo to bring her leg, maybe, perhaps bring her leg across the other side for a leg drag, or stand up and pry the legs open, because she is under constant threat.
Yeah, you even saw right there Elizabeth Clay was going for an armbar.
Yeah.
Not something you see a lot of people do. I've seen people like Hudson Mateos, known for their armbars, do that. They're looking for submissions around every corner.
Nice spinning underneath again is Liz. She's attached onto that far leg. Now, she has a couple options here. She can use this to come up and sweep, which she is potentially going to be able to do to get 2 points. She potentially had a calf slicer even on the other side. She has a toe hold on the near side leg, which she could switch off to an armbar with.
This looks like, Amy Campo's doing the right thing, keeping her leg straight, averting most of the tension to her foot rather than her knee, and she escapes that. That is going to be an advantage for Liz Clay, but at what cost? This is potentially a passing position for Amy Campo if she's able to get to the side. She's lifting the leg.
Yeah, and it looked for a moment like Liz maybe was going to come up for the 2, but the hesitation gave Amy the space to look for this pass, and now she is almost past those legs of Liz Clay. Liz has an underhook with her right hand, and that is saving some of the pressure, but that cross ace from Amy with the crawler grip is really, really strong.
Definitely a tough position. That cross face is actually Elizabeth Clay sort of utilizing the torque on that cross face to sit down in a safe position, back to her guard. Campo still up by 2, but as I say that, now Amy Campo moving back.
Now, Amy's a big fan of leg locks.
This is very interesting. I'm unsure. Amy Campo needs to be very careful in this position and not accidentally secure Elizabeth Clay's leg here, because this is that gray area of the IBJJF, we'll call it, where a lot of the people, the spectators and the referees might have differing opinions on what's going on, but this is sort of an ashigarami position.
Yeah, it's interesting because you can be in an ashigarami position, but you cannot over wrap the leg, right? You can't have like a foot lock like grip on the leg, but you can, which we almost saw, but you can drape the arm over, or you can underhook. So Amy was really strategic there with using the position to control, but not risking any kind of DQ. But now, having Liz almost flattened on her stomach, we see almost like this, it's a wrestling-like position where you can bring your right arm under and use that to flip your partner over. But she moves into a knee cut and has a big pass here with this knee cut. She is going to secure the pass here. She gets 3 points on the board and moves into a 5-point lead.
My goodness, that was so fast. The moment the opportunity presented itself, Amy Campo slides into side control. And with 3 minutes left in a tough spot, Elizabeth Clay was keeping her guard active. She was doing a great job defending these positions, but just one opportunity came. Just over 2 minutes to go. Amy Campo really letting this lead marinate.
Yeah, and as she is going to try to drown down the last 2 minutes, we're going to jump over to mat 3 because we have a really incredible semifinal match between Melissa Stricker-Cueto and Gabriela Pisania. Both of these ladies, really, really incredible athletes, and they find themselves here in the semifinals.
As we spoke about a little earlier, Gabby Pisania riding a pretty incredible win streak, I would say. If you go to her BJJ Heroes page, you're going to find a whole lot of green, not a lot of red. See if Melissa Stricker can make a change. She has some say about that. Very rarely does Pessanha even get scored on, but Melissa Stricker with the sweep. Oh my goodness! Nearly passing. Definitely keeping us awake here. Only 10:15 California time here.
Yeah, Melissa Stricker definitely no stranger to doing well in the open class. She last year took a bronze in the Pan Am's open class while winning gold in her division at heavyweight, and she's also the reigning heavyweight world champion, or sorry, she's a 2021 heavyweight world champion. So she does really well in open classes consistently, but I don't believe that these two have ever gone with each other.
Pessanha trying to get that lapel game that she is so well known for going. It seems like every time she tangles up the lapel, something good comes out of it for her. I think Stricker taking definitely some deep precautionary measures to avoid that.
Funny enough, like we were mentioning, Gabby doesn't get scored on too often. The one person that I think consistently does score on Gabby that I see over and over is Yara Suarez, right? So Yara has been out due to injury, so she's not competing at this World Championships, but she has consistently scored on Gabby Pessanha, had very, very close matches. You know, definitely, Anna Carolina also has had a good match with Gabby Pessanha, but for the most part, this is a very dominant start for Melissa Stricker.
One thing that's cool about Pessanha is, I mean, she's a young competitor, but she displays so much maturity on the mat. She understands how long 6 minutes and 45 seconds can be. Really, for a competitor that moves a lot and doesn't have a lot of foresight in the match, 6 minutes will go by like that, very quick. But for Gabby, she sees the bigger picture of the match, and that's why even with a 2-point lead, 2 points is not that much of a lead at this level that both of these competitors are competing at.
Yeah, something you'll notice about Gabrielle is she never looks panicked. She always has the same composure. She always looks cool, calm, and collected. And she pulls out those last-minute scores when she needs it. You know, she goes with, like, Yara, for example, quite often. And Yara will be seemingly having, like, a pretty strong lead. And then somehow Gabby looks totally calm, cool, collected, and in the last minute is able to put multiple scores on the board like there was never any question of whether or not it was going to happen. It's pretty incredible.
And for that not only to happen once, but time and time again. Almost as if she's trying to leave us in suspense.
Yeah, and this here is one of Gabby's strongest positions, this closed guard. She is super, super strong from here. Open class or weight class. She uses it to transition to lightning fast triangles. She's really strong from 50-50. She's really great with her lapels.
Right now she's engaging the lapel around the De La Riva. Seems like a heavy part of the game plan for Melissa going into this match had to have been deal with the lapel guard from on top. She stayed so patient. Right now using her right elbow just to stifle the left knee of Pessanha. It's a tall task, but she is doing a great job of it as we go only 30 seconds away from the midpoint of this match.
You can see Gabby using that right hand on the collar to potentially elevate Melissa over her body. She tried to pull her up and over, and then she transitions to that between pulling her over and pushing her back. So she's continuously off-balancing Melissa in hopes that she will find an opening. And as I say that, you know, she almost does. She gets another off-balancing moment, makes Melissa do a big back step to stay on top, and then again switches back and forth.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, this is going to be Melissa's best shot, is that open style passing. But as I say that, she goes back into the guard of Gabi Pessanha, which, to be fair, I mean, she doesn't have a lot of pressure on her right now. So going back in the guard is not the end of the world. But I do believe that the best chance she has at passing is that open style passing that we started to see when she initially came up on top for the sweep.
Here we see Gabi Pessanha now trying to get under the leg, and wow, gets her leg right out of there, Melissa Stricker. And I will say the longer this match goes on, as I said before, the lead gets bigger, but especially in this situation, though Gabi Pessanha stays so composed the entire time, this is the kind of fight that is very intelligent for Stricker to make, is just to keep it close and to not give an inch the entire time. Keep this small lead, don't exert yourself, don't overextend and put yourself in a bad position. Just ride this lead, because as time winds down, that's when we're going to see the most action.
Yeah, it's true, but you know, it's hard to do that with someone like Gabi Pessanha, I will say, because if you want to know who has more in the tank, I've never seen Gabi not be the one to have more in the tank.
As you say that right there, Kendall.
So fighting that battle with Gabi, I mean, the only time I've ever seen Gabi lose was the open class final of the Brown Belt Worlds, and it was her versus Yara. And Yara stepped on the gas and never stepped off. And she ended up taking the back and choking her out. And she was in the driver's seat, and she never took her foot off. She was trying to dominate. She was trying to submit and to win that match. So that, I think, is going to be the key to victory with somebody who is as composed and as strategic and smart as, and has the gas tank that Gabi Pessanha does.
And that's going to need to be the key here for Melissa Stricker, because now the score is not only tied up, but she is down by one advantage with the passing pressure of Pessanha on top. It really is something special to see how Pessanha can just create, using the lapels, using her crafty guard, just create a passing position, or a sweeping position, my bad. And as we see right here, Stricker really trying to make this sweep happen, or perhaps go for the toe hold. Pessanha doing the smart thing in that situation, keeping control over one of the arms.
We have a couple really incredible male black belt matches coming up as well. We're going to see the likes of Kaynan Duarte. He had a big win over Elder Cruz. And we are also going to see Victor Hugo, again, the reigning double gold Brasileiro champion. So we've got some really good matches in store that we are going to move to. We also just saw a big win by Erich Munis on mat 2 in his opening round of the open class.
Now we really see the daunting pressure of Gabi Pessanha. Crossface on one side, flattening her out on her stomach, essentially, on the other side. Stricker doing a good job avoiding the points, doing what she can.
Now look at Gabi's control of the leg with the left hand. She could have opted, and many athletes would have opted to switch.
Oh, and that's it.
Wow. Just
not a conventional position to finish a match, Kendall, but Gabi Pessanha makes it happen.
Yeah, really incredible. I mean, like, I think that pant grip was the key to victory there, because most athletes would have switched to go to the immediately to the seatbelt, because they would have saw the opening and jumped around to the back. But what Gabi was able to do was keep the collar grip in, and instead of getting greedy and looking for the back, she stayed really tight. She held the pant leg, and she was actually able to move into a choke right off that singular grip.
Yeah, it looked like she was applying maximum pressure as she was going for the transition to the back. Really impressive stuff. And she moved one step closer to making her name, again, just further in the history books.
And as this match ends, we are going to jump over into mat 11, because on mat 11, we are going to see Kaynan Duarte in his second match of the open class this morning. This is going to be the quarterfinals. Now, this quarterfinal match he has against Pedro Alex dos Santos Pimento of GF Team is going to determine who moves on into the semis tomorrow.
Oh, here we go. And that's the cool thing about the Absolute, is it gets started right at the get-go, and you find out who's going to be in the finals before lunchtime.
Now Pedro looking real happy this morning. He is singing, he's moving around, not looking at all worried about fighting the likes of Kaynan Duarte. And a big foot sweep there right into a single leg. Look at him in on a takedown on Kaynan Duarte this morning in the first 15 seconds of this match.
Kaynan Duarte, such a strong competitor, though. You see him rip his foot right to the ground. And Kaynan's coming into this tournament very motivated to stake his claim. He wants that double gold. He's been very avid about it. Last year at the World Championships, though he won the gold medal, he said in the finals, right before he got his hand raised, he apologized to the crowd for his performance, even though he won. Just goes to show there is a standard that some of the competitors down there on the blue mats at Atos keep, and definitely excited to see a hungry and motivated Kaynan Duarte. Pimento actually did get one advantage earlier.
Yeah, that was a really intelligent way for Pimento to come out. He had a foot sweep that led him to a single leg, and then Kaynan was able to stay on his feet, free his leg, and then as soon as he freed his leg, he pulled guard right away. Switched back into his closed guard. Now we have a big underhook on the left side. He could definitely hip out and sweep over to the left side, but Pimento able to pinch his right knee in and stay very, very tall and strong here, avoiding that threat.
It's definitely a very strong posture by Pimento here. Kind of forcing Kaynan to decide between the lumberjack sweep you saw him going for earlier, and now looking for a shoulder crunch. I don't see a lot of this. But just trying to, as the name of the move entails, try to crunch the shoulder, possibly straighten the arm, turn it into an arm bar. Oh, and he dips for the double under. Oh, wow. My goodness. Takes him right down to the ground with that double underhook, ends up on top in half guard.
A classic body lock trip there from Kaynan Duarte off of the closed guard. Such a beautiful attack. We've seen that a lot from so many top-level competitors. I've seen personally Otavio Souza, world champion, do that to so many people. And Kaynan uses it beautifully. Now in the mount, he switches over to the arm. He is locked in on this arm bar here. His hips are nice and tight to the shoulder, which means he could get the right extension. But Pedro doing a good job keeping his arms connected. He has his left leg posted out. And that kickstand is going to afford him the ability to keep stacking towards Kaynan and to keep his arm bent. But as I say that, Kaynan using his hips to bridge in and get a little more extension. As time goes on, he gets a little more extension, may be able to straighten this arm out. You'll notice he's keeping his heels tight to the body to kind of pull him in, but now rotating through, bringing the arm out to the side, and he does get the finish here.
Oh, and a little bit of banter back and forth. You can tell these two are friends.
All right, guys, we have had a lot of great action here this morning. We have a lot more action in store, and we have a really special award ceremony. So Jake Watson, again, Kendall Rusing here running your commentary today. We'll be right back after this break. All right, we are back with probably my favorite match of the day so far. And this is a semifinal open class match between Amy Campo and Ana Carolina Vieira. An incredible match to look at here in the open class this morning. These ladies have both had some tough matches already coming into the division. Coming into the open class division. And now they're going to get started to see who will fight in the semifinals or in the finals tomorrow.
All right, here we go. Ana Carolina coming off of a dominant victory versus Vanessa Griffin. Amy Campo coming off of a initially back and forth, but then turning really strongly in her favor versus Elizabeth Clay. So the roads led to here, and this is the semifinal. Winner moves on to tomorrow's final of the open class division. Man.
Now, Ana Carolina does have a win over Amy Campo, but Amy Campo, I need to fact check myself real quick, so I'm going to look up the exact tournament that it was. Amy Campo, I believe, beat Ana Carolina, and then Ana Carolina beat Amy Campo in the same major. One was in the weight class, and one was in the open class. So definitely very capable of this match going either way.
Campo no stranger to the final of the open class division at the World Championship and has improved in leaps and bounds since earning her black belt. Both athletes going to be not awarded, it's not really an award when you get a penalty, but they're both granted a penalty.
Yes, so at the World Championships last year, she beat Ana Vieira in the open class by referee decision. And then in the weight class, she actually lost by armbar. So Ana submitted her in the same tournament, right? So these ladies both super tough, and both have, I would say, like a high percentage of submission victories in the gi here, even at the caliber of the World Championships. Amy also has a win from the same World Championships in the gi last year over Yara Suarez, who we talked about earlier being, Gabi Pisania's biggest rival, who is, in the super heavy division, super dominant, consistently on the podium in the biggest events, winning the biggest events. So Amy, while she is a very new black belt, she came in as a new black belt, won ADCC, and competed extremely well in the gi World Championships in the same year.
Yeah, no, she has been active wearing both hats in the gi and no gi divisions, or scenes, I guess I would say. And so far, 3 minutes down in this match, a penalty each, and the match has yet to go to the ground.
But difficult to underestimate the experience and the time-tested abilities of three-time world champion Ana Carolina. She won the world in 2017, 2018, 2019, and she is consistently at the top of the podium in all of these majors around the world. Again, we mentioned earlier that not only does she do that in her weight class, but she also does that in the open class time and time again. Now, these ladies have to start to get a little careful here with the risk of the penalty, because they now have 2 penalties on the board, which means you can see the 2 penalties and the 1 advantage per person. A third penalty would lead to 2 points. So if there's another penalty, there'd be 2 points on the board. But a 4th penalty is a DQ. And of course, you never want to see that, but we've definitely seen it before, right? And so we see Ana getting a little bit more active here on her shots, reaching. But the referees also are watching out to see if, when you're creating action, if you're really committing to something, to creating action, or if you're just trying to have some sort of movement. And so the ladies are really going to have to pick up some real action, move towards scoring positions, take some risks in order to keep that third stalling call at bay.
Yeah, when you have 3 penalties each, people sometimes forget, it doesn't matter what you do, you grab the inside of the gi. And that could be 2 points for the other person because you've allowed the match to go into this 2-penalty territory. If you each have 3 penalties, you grab inside the gi, or you grab, worse, you grab inside the gi to defend a submission, or some petty foul like that will be a DQ.
Anything, yeah.
It's just not worth it in my my mind. But these are 2 of the best competitors in the entire world. They know what they're doing. And so here we go. Yeah, we're in that territory.
Penalty. Which is not surprising because, you know, it's been 4.5 minutes, right? This didn't happen very quickly. We've been moving down the time. 4.5 minutes into this match, no action really so far, no big movements, no big commitments to a score, and now we have 3 penalties each. So again, we've got to be very careful at this point with knowing that a 4th penalty could mean DQ.
And you see the referees are doing everything they can to also not award these penalties. The time limit's 20 seconds. There has been times in this match where it has been longer than 20 seconds. Referees are doing what they can to encourage movement on both sides.
Now, as this match continues, we're going to move over to mat 12 because we have an incredible match underway with Victor Hugo, the reigning double Brasileiro champion, just finished a very strong takedown there on mat 12. Oh, excuse me, he didn't finish the takedown. It looked to me like he was about to finish the takedown. He was taking Guilherme all the way out of bounds with a big, big sprawl and was not able to finish, but now they come back in the center, and Victor has, I believe, I can't see the score just yet. I think he was awarded an advantage for his takedown attempt. Now, this is the quarterfinals of the open class, so this determines who moves into the semifinals very shortly this morning. You know, it won't be quick. It won't be too long after this match ends before the semifinals begins. Sorry, I said again earlier. I meant, of course, Luis Fernando out of Torres Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So interesting enough, Luis Oliveira has the 2-point lead. We missed the beginning of this match, so we're not quite sure how that score came onto the board, but Victor Hugo here now in a strong closed guard with an advantage. So again, if he's on the bottom and he is able to score 2 points, so he gets a sweep or any sort of score, he will be up and winning the match with this advantage on the board. That will set the match apart.
8 minutes, a lot of time to work. See if Victor Hugo can get that big man flow going, as he likes to call it.
Yeah, Victor's big.
Oh, wow.
Whoa, big inversion there from Victor Hugo. He is well known for being an ultra heavy who moves with so much flexibility, movement, dexterity, flow, big man flow, whatever you want to call it. And we're going to get to see some of that right now here as he inches his way towards the back. He's starting to move some openings there into a crab ride, but wow, Luis Oliveira able to do a big spin and turn back into the closed guard of Victor Hugo.
Really is very impressive stuff to see. Such a large human being. I mean, 6'5", 250 pounds, let's say, and able to invert for a berimbolo. And right here, see him, looks like he's trying to climb the back, but beautiful triangle shot over the top.
He does have these lightning fast triangles. He has really, really dangerous close guard and side guard, very Xande Ribeiro 6-blade style that he displays here. And he does get the finish with that triangle there in the quarterfinals of this match, moving him in to the semifinals of the open class, looking for another double gold major victory is Victor Hugo this morning.
And a beautiful start by Oliveira there, but Victor Hugo just doing a fantastic job setting up that triangle.
We're going to actually, now as we have some time, we're going to jump back over to Amy Cambo and Ana Carolina Vieira, check back in with how that semifinal match is going. We see Ana Carolina in on a single leg, and Amy like really desperately trying to get her leg back. We're going to see the time on a clock in a second, but we know that it is not too long, so this score could potentially make or break the match. There is 1:15 on the clock. Anna Carolina was the one to take the chance, presumably. We didn't see how it happened, but she took a shot. She's in on this leg. She has a lapel pass through, and it's not that different than the way that she scored with Vanessa in her earlier match. So we know that she is super strong and comfortable here.
Yeah, right now she's currently not able to make that transition that she prefers. You know, she takes that right hand behind the leg of Amy Campo. If she's able to do that, then it's going to be a much more powerful takedown. You see Amy Campo doing everything she can to get her leg behind her. If she's able to break the grip on the lapel in this situation, pull up on that grip, as you see the knuckles right there from this angle. Anna Carolina Vieira facing in front of Campo. Look at that, trying to do whatever she can, really, it looks like, to get the leg out, but Vieira just staying on it.
Yeah, I mean, Amy has a really strong takedown game of her own. She has really strong judo, really strong wrestling, and so, of course, she is very familiar with what Anna needs to do, and so she's able to do her best to do the opposite. They have to be careful now going out of bounds. You see a big sacrifice throw attempt there from Amy Campo. As a defense, she doesn't get to score, but she frees herself, and she's desperately trying to score here as they go out of bounds. And there's nothing on the board, but we do see some big emotion from Anna Carolina.
Certainly a very back and forth match. A lot of patience shown by both competitors.
This is going to come down to a ref's decision, I believe. We have 3 referees on the mat. They're going to give their vote. This will determine who moves into the open class finals to face Gabriela Pisania on the other side. And it's Anna Carolina into the finals of the open class, which we will see tomorrow. And with the end of that match wrapping up, we are actually going to check in on the female divisions. You guys are going to see a graphic on the screen here. We're able to see what this open class looks like. So again, we saw Gabi Pisania move her way through to the semifinals, beating Melissa Stricker, another world champion, to move into the finals. And on the other side, of course, we had Amy Campo and Anna Carolina make it through to the semis, beating multiple world champions along the way, all around in this division, by the way, up and down, all the way through to the finals. Now we have Gabi Pisania and Anna Carolina. This is a rematch of, to be honest, one of the more controversial matches we've seen in the IBJJF stages, where it was a very, very difficult match for Anna Carolina to swallow, because she was very, very dominant in some ways in the match against Gabriela Pisania, but Gabi came out on top. So I know that she's really, really excited to get this one back, and we'll see if she's able to do that tomorrow.
Yep. Number 1 and number 2 seed make it.
No big surprises here. We are going to take a quick break before we are back to see our men's semifinals, to see what our absolute division on the other end of things will look like tomorrow. So we'll be right back. All right, we are back, and we are in none other than this semifinal between Kaynan Duarte and Victor Hugo. Now, these guys have had a couple matches between them. Kaynan winning the matches, but very, very tightly contested, grindy, gritty matches, and none of them have been quite that recent. So this is a pretty big moment in this division because Victor has been on quite the tear lately. He is on a very high of his career with his big double gold win at Brasileiros and a lot of good head-to-head wins in the last year. But Kaynan being Kaynan, the returning world champion, looking for double gold, is definitely looking to cement another big win for himself as well.
Yeah, these two share so much history. I remember when it was purple belt, brown belt for these two. It was like every major tournament these two were in the final. And you're right, a lot of time spent apart, improving each in their own way. And now to see them back here, open class semifinal, winner goes on to face the winner of Erich Munis. And who's on the other side? Because I know there were some upsets.
Paulo Enrique Merlin beat Hulk. He beat Lucas Barbosa in the quarterfinals on the other side, and that will push him through to meet Erich Munis in the other semifinals. But we see, Victor getting into his big inversion game that we talk about a lot, all the way to the back, and he does score 2 points. Well, not scoring yet. I don't want to say he scored 2 yet, but he is in this top body lock position as they go out of bounds. Very, very strong position here. It looks like the referee is going to look to stand them up and score Victor an advantage, even though we hear many people in the arena calling for 2 points. That is a tricky one when there is not an established position as people go out of the boundaries.
Yeah, when you go out of bounds like that, you got to be careful to reel your opponent back in. But off that situation, it's just so tough to keep that in bounds.
Yeah, we were able to see that flexibility of Victor Hugo, that inversion game, that big man flow to come up into a takedown. We're going to see a replay of it here. He brings his body all the way up and around and flies at Kaynan Duarte to take him down. Ends up in this body lock almost into a back take and ended up in a side smash position as they landed. Was awarded an advantage for all of his efforts. Here we see Kaynan look to pull straight into his sweep. He saw his left foot come down to the knee to kind of extend that leg out and move into his sweep there, but Victor able to stay nice and solid into this base on top.
Yeah, Victor very hard to sweep from the top position. He has he's the ability to make his base incredibly low. And speaking from experience, had the opportunity to share the mats with both of these gentlemen. The strength of Kaynan Duarte, I would say if you're looking at it pound for pound, Kaynan might have a slight strength advantage, but Victor is able to use this sort of dead weight. When you lean on somebody and you're not even really driving into them, you're just leaning all of your body weight on and using that as the pivot point in your passes. It's just very, very impressive. It's very hard to stop. So look for Victor Hugo. If he's able to get a body lock or anything that isolates the hips, it can be very difficult for Kaynan to move.
Yeah, there's a reason they call Victor the Mountain, right?
And he's got a lot of nicknames.
He's got Big Man Flow, the Mountain. And, Victor is interesting to note that he's had some of his biggest career moments lately at the same time as some lifestyle changes. He opened a school, he's running a school, he's teaching full time, and many people advise that doing that and competing at the same time is very difficult, but he is a man who has been able to do it all and now have some of the best performances of his career, and of course we know that he is looking to do that again here today if he can get past Kaynan Duarte. Kaynan seeming to control Victor's right hand. For a second, it looked like he may look for an arm drag type attack, but he switches back to the collar. One thing you'll notice about Kaynan when he's playing guard, especially in this closed guard position, is he's constantly switching his grips to negate any attacks that his opponent might have. So we just in the sentence that I've said, we've seen him switch to under the leg, to the cross grip, and of course we have Andre Galvao, the Atos leader, in his corner. Been coaching him for quite a long time now. Very familiar with seeing these two as a pair in the World Championships on these mats. And now we're in a bit of an open guard. Kaynan opts to sit up, to be in the seated guard. And he has his foot on the bicep, so you can kind of see his left foot on the bicep here. It's not a traditional spider guard. He's not playing spider, but he seems to be able to control Victor's posture a little bit with the combo of the grips on the sleeve and the feet on the shoulders and biceps and the hips.
One thing about Kaynan Duarte that is very poignant and throughout all of his career that maybe not a lot of people know about, except for, of course, one of the greatest of all time, Andre Galvão, is what kind of student he is as he chases.
Look at this arm drag. Yeah, Kaynan really chasing that arm drag attack to the back. Not able to get to the back as Victor was able to keep his speed and continue moving to the left to evade the angle that Kaynan needed to make, and they will end up back here in this close guard.
And what I was going to say before Kaynan made me stifle my speech is Kaynan Duarte is an incredible student. I remember one time there was an opportunity for him to compete. First time I ever saw him compete in America, he was a purple belt, and he attended
at
classes
Dan Lucart's, right?
At Dan
I
Lucart's.
saw him compete there as a purple belt as well.
Yes,
we were at the same event.
The day before the competition, he attended a class, learned a technique, and used it in his matches to win the tournament the very next day. That's the kind of student he is. Very quick to apply techniques, very quick to add it to his arsenal. So you see, that's why you see the constant improvement of Kaynan.
Look at this big wrestle-up attempt from Kaynan. He looked to wrestle up to the legs of Victor Hugo because once Victor got the space in the passing, the outside passing, now this will be, well, they go out of bounds. I was going to say this would be a takedown if there were to be a score there because they were up for more than 3 seconds. So once you come up from the guard for 3 seconds, if you stay up and then you go back down, that is now a takedown. So you've got to be aware of that, especially as the bottom player. You don't want to re-pull if somebody has your leg or something of that nature. So obviously, kind of knowing that, staying on his feet, they ended up going out of bounds. So it's 0-0 there. No score on the board as far as we know, other than that early advantage from Victor Hugo. But it was interesting to note that as soon as Victor got his outside passing going, Kaynan looked to opt to wrestle up and come back up to the feet. He looks very comfortable in a close range position. We know that his close guard very dangerous. Of course, his open guard dangerous as well. But Victor Hugo, his outside passing, very, very threatening. And Kaynan opted to stand up to look to score, to wrestle up, and then ultimately end up back on the feet.
Victor Hugo riding a very narrow lead with 3 minutes and 40 seconds left. And he is the one who pulls guard now. This is where he found some success earlier on. It's from his own guard. See if Kaynan puts on a little bit more urgent pressure here. As the time is winding down, not in his favor.
Yeah, what Victor doesn't want is he does not want an open range passing Kaynan. So we saw him just for a second there look to not have any grips, and Kaynan was about to kind of get going, and he kind of does such a great job with grabbing the pant leg and throwing the legs by and closing the space and just being super relentless there. And so I think it was really smart for Victor to open the lapels and start to tie up some more solid grips to avoid that speed and that explosiveness that Kaynan displays consistently.
This is one of the ways to do it. Having the lapel engaged. It's sort of a battle between can Victor Hugo use his left arm in this situation, as you see, against the lapel, and Kaynan shoving down the leg. It's really a battle over inches here. And as I say that, Victor Hugo looks like he might potentially...
Wow, back in the close guard. Now, man, with the 2 minutes on the board, 2:20 that we have on the board and an advantage win, I think that Victor just put himself in a very smart position to edge out this victory. With these open guard positions, again, Kaynan's passing is so excellent. And so Victor was able to invert. And also, to his credit, it didn't seem to me that he's looking to stall out a close guard advantage win. It was more that he was looking to be active and he was looking to invert. And without being able to get to a scoring position, because Kaynan kept his base back and was at a strong balance and a strong base there, he ended up able to get to close guard instead. Now he's working to break the posture down, maybe moving back into this open guard into a 50-50. Victor has a very active 50-50 game.
And this really is a great spot for Victor Hugo. Very intelligent move by him. Kaynan looking to potentially turn this.
Yeah, Kaynan moving that left foot over the chest was really, really smart, moving him out of 50-50 and more of into a position where he could potentially look for the back himself. And Victor will have to be very careful here not to expose himself for a potential advantage.
It's an interesting word choice, expose yourself. As Kaynan Duarte may...
Big stretch on the leg here, though, from Victor Hugo. Now he grabs the pants back, looking for more back exposure with 1 minute on the clock. This is a very, very precarious position for both of these guys to be in, because any look at the back from either competitor or look at a leg submission could change the tide of this match. Victor in on a toe hold here. Doesn't quite have a bite, doesn't quite have a bend in the knee or isolation of the leg, but if he were to come up, this would also be a score for 2 points.
Oh my goodness, here we go.
Wow, what will the score here be? They were almost out of bounds as the referee called the match to a stop.
This could be an advantage for Victor Hugo in this situation.
We see Shanji Ribeiro in the corner of Victor Hugo, of course. Look to be calling for a 2. We'll see if there's anything put on board, whether it's in a 2 or an advantage.
Wow, 42 seconds left, and there's only an advantage that separates these two. That just goes to show, with the time they've spent not competing against each other, it seems like every tournament, they have both improved at such a rate that it's still this close. The legendary Shanji Ribeiro, one of the greatest to ever do it, in the corner of Victor Hugo.
Wow, hard to believe that there's nothing on the board there. Not an advantage or 2 points. And Kaynan, knowing that he needs to put something on the board with 30 seconds left, pulls into guard. We know that he is able to get big overhead sweeps. We've seen it time and time again. But Victor has such a strong base, a very difficult person to sweep in general. We almost looked at a little bit of a triangle there from Kaynan Duarte.
Kaynan trying to make whatever opportunity he can happen. But Victor Hugo doing all the right things.
Wow, he'll finish here with this single leg grip and no score, but that is a 1 advantage win for Victor Hugo that will put him into the absolute finals tomorrow. And his win over Kaynan Duarte for the first time in years.
Really incredible stuff, and such a great show of respect between these two as well. They've competed against each other so many times. Victor Hugo, by 1 advantage, makes it happen.
Huge win to continue the big man flow show we've been seeing in the last couple months. Big win over the world champion Kaynan Duarte to put him into the finals tomorrow afternoon. And in a minute, we are going to find out who Victor Hugo will be facing in the open class finals, because it will be a match between Erich Munis, another reigning world champion, and Paulo Henrique Merlin, which is a new up-and-coming black belt out of Gracie Barra. He had a big win over Lucas Barboza in the quarterfinals of the open class earlier today. It was definitely a big upset win, and so now he'll have to face Erich to see who ends up in the finals against Victor Hugo tomorrow.
All right, take a look at the male open class bracket. You see right there the number 3 seed Victor Hugo paves his way to the final. We're going to be looking at the winner of, it looks like, the last seed and the first seed. There's definitely some upsets being made by Henrique, beating Lucas Barboza in something that definitely was unexpected but welcome. Erich Munis versus Henrique will be very soon, as Victor Hugo punches his ticket to the very last match of the entire tournament tomorrow. Man, Kendall, lots of great matches happening in this tournament.
Yeah, it's been super incredible. I'm getting really excited seeing both Erich and Paulo lined up on mat 1, about to go at it. This will be our last match of the open class black belt divisions before we go into our award ceremony in just a short while. But before that, of course, we have these two legends in the making, Erich Munis, reigning champion, and Paulo Merlin, brand new black belt looking to make a statement.
coming up right away for that advantage. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, if there is a double pull and one athlete comes up, it is an advantage for the competitor who initiates the passing. And Enrique trying to stay active and pass to the side right away. Just really trying to make a lot of activity happen right off the bat. Erich Munis so crafty in his guard. The use of lapels is so prominent and present in his game.
Erich Munis, not only world champion, but also is the reigning Pan Am champion just a couple months ago in the super heavy division. He's been looking super sharp, super consistent. We have really seen a consistent Erich Munis showing up on the mats in the last year. And it's been very, very impressive to see him take out top name after top name again and again at these major tournaments.
The whole Munis family is dynamic and very dangerous. You got Alex Munis, Erich Munis, Anderson Munis. There's even another Munis brother who competed earlier in this 5-day event, who I believe is a purple belt. The whole family is coming out to every tournament to take. They're not here to take part, they're here to take over. As I say that, Erich Munis has his left foot entangled in the lapel, getting Paulo Henrique off balance. Sits him back onto his butt, and he comes up for the sweep right into 50-50. A lot of competitors, when they realize that they're going to give up the sweep, they immediately set to initiate 50-50, give themselves some breathing room, a little bit of a buffer to potentially get those 2 points back. You see that a lot, especially at the highest level of competition. And all eyes in this arena at the Walter Pyramid are on mat 1. Erich doing a great job shoving that knee. You notice Paulo Henrique's right knee is underneath the knee line of Erich Munis. But as I say that, Enrique's he's actually using that position to peel the other leg.
Yeah, Erich does such a great job at battling for inside position. I mean, Paulo looked to be able to maybe to create some action there, but Erich pummeled his legs inside so quickly in a way that allowed him to come up on top into a strong passing position. So not just to come up on top, but to come up on top in a way that it was going to allow him to move into the pass immediately, and he does so here, securing the first score on the board in this match. He has 3 points here in side control.
And my goodness, what a pass. It was a single opportunity, a small opening, Kendall, and he just made it happen.
Looks to be passing, well, moving the belts out of the way a little bit, but he's passing the belt through. He has a bit of a north-south bicep choke, it appears from here.
Oh, and he gets the tap, Erich Munis.
Wow.
Couldn't even see it from that angle, but Erich Munis was applying a tight choke on Paulo Henrique. And I would say that sends a statement to the other side of the bracket. There will be Victor Hugo versus Erich Munis in the finals, last match of the entire tournament on Sunday. Open class final, Kendall Rusing.
Yeah, so it's interesting, too, thinking back to last year at the World Championships. If you guys forgot, Erich Munis, he won the super heavyweight final and then proposed to his then girlfriend, now wife, on the mat. And then he was in the open class final against Nicholas Marigali, and that was the match that Nicholas won. So he is now looking to maybe redo his worlds a little bit and come out for that double gold instead of a gold and a silver. Of course, a huge feat that he was able to accomplish last time, but now looking to make a little bit of a change, and he is well on his way to doing that as he moves into the finals to face Victor Hugo tomorrow in the open class. We're going to see a little bit of a replay here of this match. Going to catch that submission.
Oh, look at the pressure.
That guillotine from north-south. Really, really impressive. Able to get the tap after about 3.5 minutes, and that's going to push him right into the finals. We are going to have a really incredible award ceremony, our Hall of Fame award ceremony, so don't go anywhere. Make sure you guys stick around to watch that. We'll be back for that in just a moment here after a short break. And Jake, I'm super excited to be back with you soon. Kendall Roosing here, Jake Watson. We'll be back to call the rest of the action later today after the award ceremony in our weight class.
Don't go anywhere.